the secret science behind winning in Fortnite and why some players will always be better than you. This is just one of the many news articles that goes over muscle memory and how it can be used to improve dramatically faster in Fortnite. And most of this is true. Muscle memory does exist, and it's one of the biggest factors to improving at Fortnite, because muscle memory is essentially the only thing that allows you to improve a specific skill and do so almost without thinking, like knowing how to triple edit, or knowing how to do multiple build and edit moves in a row, or even knowing how to piece control. But there are also some misconceptions about muscle memory, and I spent over 10 hours researching everything there is about muscle memory, how it can be used to dramatically increase your skill level at a very fast rate, how it can be used to optimize your practice, and some misconceptions about muscle memory. And I'll share everything you need to know in this video. In fact, scientific research says that skills retained through muscle memory can be performed with up to 25% greater efficiency compared to skills that are practiced without focusing on this. This means that repetitive actions like building, aiming, and editing can become almost automatic, allowing you to execute these movements faster. So let's say you repeatedly practice quad edits. Your brain will create and strengthen something called neural pathways specific to those actions. So over time, this practice allows you to build and edit faster without needing to consciously think about each step. So not only can good muscle memory make you play better, but you can also focus on muscle memory in your practice to improve at Fortnite faster. And I'll talk about exactly how you can do this later in the video, but first I think it's important that you fully understand what muscle memory is. Well, whenever a skill is learned, the information is stored within the brain region known as the cerebellum, essentially meaning the more you practice a skill, the more efficient you become. Even after taking a long break from playing Fortnite, once you go back, your brain is already programmed to play Fortnite efficiently because of all the hours you've already put into the game. And this is why when you take a 1 week break, for example, you'll often come back just as good as you were before you took that break, and in most cases, you'll actually play better if you take a short break and come back, but only if you haven't took a break in a while. To make it easier to understand, the more you practice something, the more you'll increase your muscle memory. This makes getting as many repetitions as you can really helpful to improving fast at Fortnite. It's why you always see the same pros at the top of the leaderboard: Veno, Queasy, Malibuka, Murstache, Acorn, Cold, Tayson, Seti, Cammy, and I think you get the point. They've just simply got more repetitions than you and way more experience, on top of knowing the right way to practice. And this is why it's so important to get as many repetitions as possible if you want to improve. This is because when you repeat actions like aiming, building, or editing, your brain and muscles start to remember these tasks. This makes it easier and quicker for you to do them in the future. As you keep practicing, you'll find that you can react faster and play faster and more smoothly. In simple terms, the more you practice, the better you get, because your body and brain get used to what you need to do, meaning they can do the actions faster. If you want to apply this to your Fortnite practice, then you want to get the most amount of repetitions for the things you struggle with. Whether it's something varied like just overall building and editing mechanics, or whether it's something specific like edit speed. Whatever it is, you want to be doing as many repetitions of this specific weakness as possible. Just keep in mind that you also have to improve, or at least keep up the other aspects of your game. So don't just solely work on one weakness throughout your whole Fortnite routine. Muscle memory is also built through consistency. The more consistent you are and the more repetitions you get in, the more you will contribute to building a good muscle memory. I also think that people done differently, which makes the concept of muscle memory even more important. Because essentially, if you understand muscle memory, then you would know that you need to increase repetitions and consistency in order to build muscle memory. I also want to note that I'm not saying muscle memory by itself is going to make you go pro, because at the end of the day, you can get as many repetitions of go to zone wars as you want, but it's not going to be anywhere near as effective as getting as many repetitions of scrims in, or getting as many repetitions of realistic 1v1s in, and stuff like that. So you have to combine the concept of muscle memory with other aspects of improving at Fortnite, like the maps you play, and the people you play against, and how you practice. Gradually increasing the difficulty of your practice routine is also one of the best ways to retain muscle memory and just to be able to improve in general. Just like when you go to the gym, you gradually increase the weight to be able to lift more. This is known as progressive overload. It's the same with muscle memory in Fortnite, but in terms of improvement. There's no point doing the same thing for 1 year, because what you can do now is a lot more than what you could do 1 year ago. So if you just keep doing the same things over and over again, then you're going to reach a skill cap and you're going to stop improving. On top of this, muscle memory will only allow you to do the things you've already been practicing. It will just allow you to do it faster, which is why you need to practice in the first place and focus on repetitions and consistency, like I mentioned earlier. That's how you build muscle memory, and that's just how you improve at almost everything in life. And that's why it's important you practice the right way. It will allow you to improve faster, and it will allow you to actually get better instead of staying at the same skill level. I have videos on this topic of the right practice, but now let's talk about another concept of muscle memory that could be holding you back in Fortnite competitive. As mentioned earlier, if you do something consistently, your brain will build muscle memory around it. Whether it's a good or bad thing, it doesn't matter. And this means if it's a good or bad thing, you'll eventually start doing these good or bad things automatically and without thinking. It will just become natural to you. And this is where the people that do all these flashy edits and flick shots and a bunch of useless stuff in creative fail to get anywhere in actual games. Because when you do these bad habits in creative, you start doing these bad habits in real games as well. Simply because you've pretty much programmed your brain to do this, because it's what you constantly do in creative. An example of this is the peanut butter edit. In most cases, people never actually do this edit properly because they're just trying to be flashy and creative, and because they can't do it properly as they've done the same bad edit so many times in creative. This leads them to do the same bad peak in real games, which, by the way, peaks and reboxing are probably the two main reasons people die in fights. But you can break bad habits. You just have to refine your muscle memory, which you can do by constantly trying to replace the bad habit with a good one. So instead of doing the peanut butter edit like this, you do it like this instead. So, although there are positives to muscle memory, and although there are ways to use muscle memory to improve, there are also some misconceptions about muscle memory, specifically when it comes to aim training. One of these misconceptions is that you have to stay on one sensitivity or you will get worse at aiming. The main reason why people think they have to keep their sensitivity the same is because they are familiar with that sense. And this is technically true in itself and is a justified aspect of improving your aim. But the effect is far more short term than the other aiming fundamentals. If you're unsure of what these fundamentals are, by the way, they're mouse control, hand-eye coordination, reactivity, reading skills in terms of aim, and smoothness. There are also so many factors that make it close to impossible for you to memorize how much you need to move your mouse to aim at targets in game. But while playing on a certain sensitivity, you'll gain a general sense of the relationship between the motion of your mouse and what's actually happening in game. And you're also building a relationship between how you use the parts of your arm to achieve these motions, like how far you need to move your arm to turn from north to south, or from south to east, or whatever. Because of this, people will usually get scared off by changing their sensitivity, as if they do change their sensitivity, they will no longer be familiar with that new sense. But it's important to note that the bigger the change in sensitivity is, the the more you have to adjust how you move your arm. But you can develop and refine your ability to adapt to a new sensitivity. Also, there is evidence that shows players constantly changing their sensitivity, all without seeing noticeable long-term differences in their ability to aim. In fact, some people even go as far as to suggesting you to actually change your sensitivity if you're trying to overcome a skill cap. Me personally, I think there are better options that you should try before doing this, but the point still stands that people wouldn't be recommending this if it actually affected your aim that much, or if it affected your aim long term. But the point still stands that you can change your sensitivity without seeing any long term effects. You might see some differences in your aim in the first few days or even weeks, but eventually you'll adapt to that sensitivity. But if you want the best way to improve, then I recommend joining my Discord server. Inside my Discord server, you'll get pro free resources and exclusive YouTube style videos, all aimed to help you improve dramatically fast at Fortnite. Some of the documents in my Discord are the exact same documents that tier 1 pros have used. And you get all of this for completely free. You just have to join my Discord server, which is linked in the description. But if you enjoyed this video, then like and subscribe, and consider using code Blexiti in the Fortnite item shop. Either way, I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you soon.